Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade Elder Chronicle Echoes of Blood. This is episode 1, Where the Monsters Go. So let's meet our going monsters, starting with Avery.
Hello, everybody. Hi, it's me, Avery, at Avery the Boy on all of the social media platforms. I style myself as something of an internet personality, but today I will be playing the Salubri, the Court of Samuel, Adoneth.
Thank you. Az?
Well, hey there, everybody. I'm as I was on the social media, and today I will be playing the Samisi, known as Vio.
Thank you. Luna?
Hi, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on the social medias, and this time zone I will be playing one Elvira Perez Delada Ibano Hakim.
Very good. All the names. Rachel?
Hello, everybody. I'm the Azure Butterfly, or Azure for short, or simply Rachel. In this time zone, we'll be playing the Nosferatu Melita Wallenberg.
Very good, and well said as well. Last but not least, Ramos.
Hello everyone, my name is Gilbert Ramos, aka Ramos the Nomad. On social media, I am CEO and founder of Rolling Nomads. Everyone looks so good, and then I am topless in a serape. This is where we're at now, guys. Are you entertained? Today, I have the pleasure of playing Karak.
Karak. All right, thank you. And I'll remember to do this for first episode and never again. Hi, I'm Huddy. I'm a White Wolf community ambassador, and I am your storyteller this evening. As always, this is a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition actual play. We've gone over our safety and consent, but please check in with yourselves as your well-being is important to all of us who are playing. All the content warnings for this game will be down in the description below. So if you all are ready, let us embark to Constantinople in the year 1325. The city of Constantinople, even in decline, remains a testament to imperial ambition and divine pretensions, a city poised between two spiritual axes of Christendom and the lingering shadow of Rome's ancient grandeur. Its massive land walls stretch from the Golden Horn to the Sea of Marmara, formidable as ever, but within these walls, decay has become a familiar presence. The scars of siege, betrayal, and poverty has worn deep into the marble of this once invincible bastion. To mortals, Constantinople is a dying world. To Cainites, it had once been the heart of the Byzantine Cainite dream, where the trinity of Michael, Antonius, and the Drakon had built a vampiric utopia. But that was long before the Fourth Crusade, before the Latin sack, before the dream fell into blood and fire. Constantinople is no longer the unchallenged capital of the world, but it endures, a city dreaming of its past, awaiting either renewal or final eclipse. It is a moonless night in spring, and a small vessel called the Sansperit is slipping across the Sea of Marmara like a shadow, the city rising before it like a beacon. And on this ship are two Cainites and a ghoul. Whether they have spoken before seems unlikely, as their trip was not so long, but both of you wake from your day sleep and head up onto the deck to take a view at what was once, as I described, the most glorious city in the world. We're going to begin with Adoneth. You have just left the city of Kronstadt. You are hosted by the Prince, Gisela von Heidenheim, for almost a century, while you recovered from your injuries after the siege on the Tremere. What's going through your mind as you approach Constantinople?
I think as Adoneth looks out over the sea, he's conflicted. All of this is just putting more bodies and blood into the meat cleavers that is the Tremere's maw, but at the same time, this battle is necessary. What he saw from that black-haired witch in the dungeons under Seorus, if that is but an inkling of their power, and for what they did to Saulot, This is a grievance what must be avenged. But underneath all of that, underneath the looking at the churning of the sea, there is a small, distinctly human wonder. That is this movement of the sea, the cooling graces of the wind spurred on by God. Or are these the ancient rumblings of the world serpent Jormungandr beneath the sea?
As you stare out into the city, to the oncoming city, rather, Elvira, you have just left the Holy Roman Empire with your new ghoul, Sebastian. You've also taken passage on this ship, the Sansparis. He approaches you, as I've described him before. He's thin and relatively handsome, tall, thread hair. And he approaches you. He has a rat in his hand that he has snapped the neck of. And he sort of very sheepishly says to you, I'm not sure if you are hungry. I'm not sure if you can eat this or if you need to feed off of me.
She'll look at the rat and, without saying anything, take it and feed what little she can from it and then toss it overboard. People are preferable.
Yes, but also I suppose you could be saving the city yet another bout of plague, as there has been, I don't know, a dozen in the last century or so. I have never been to Constantinople, have you?
The mentor has. She told me many things about it.
It's bigger than I thought. I hope we do not have to spend much looking for Anastasia.
We'll scour every corner, every alley.
It seems there are many places to hide stoned creatures here, even ones that fly.
Yes, well, they will die, and she will die. That is the mission.
I am pleased at your confidence. And Adonaiath, you are also up here on deck. You see a woman and a man speaking. Not uncommon. The woman is dressed regally, almost nobly, and the man dressed more or less like a pauper. But with your level of auspex, it takes no effort at all to overhear their entire conversation.
I think Adonaiath will approach. He's no reason yet for Hand to find half the vax, but he will approach with an almost unfound confidence in these nights. His strides are sure, even on the churning seas. His feet are planted with purpose and zeal, even. You must forgive me, but I couldn't help overhearing your conversations.
Must I forgive you?
You should if you want to keep your head, but I understand if you didn't. You're here for the witch as well.
I am. What do you know about that?
I've seen her magic firsthand.
Adonaiath, are you covering your third eye at all?
Not tonight. Not until we get to the city.
Then you see that this man has an eye in the center of his forehead, and if you would roll me wits and occult, I'll let you know if your sire ever talked about creatures like this.
10.
With 10 successes, Elvira, yes, Fatima would have told you about the Salubri. She wouldn't have gone too deep into the history of them, but perhaps you looked into the history of them, and you would know that they recently, as in within the last 100 years or so, right about the time of your embrace, they suffered the loss of their founder. So they are technically, according to all kindred, or Canaanites rather, not a clan anymore. They are simply a bloodline, as they have no founder anymore. In addition to that, there has been a significant amount of propaganda that you have heard whispers of when you have passed through different domains, that they are soul suckers, that they are diablerists, that they participate in activities that are against a lot of the code of conduct, let's say, of vampires.
Noticing this Canaanite's eye, she'll make no attempt to hide that she notices. And say, a shame what happened to your founder.
Do you see that just be flippant words, or do you mean what you say? Do you know what we went through? What my brothers bled for?
Obviously, I wasn't there, but I say nothing flippantly.
Would you like to see what I saw there?
Yes.
And I will hold out my hand. Let me make sure this power still works the same way.
You know, share the senses, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
6 successes.
With 6 successes, Elvira, this man who hasn't introduced himself, reaches out, grabs onto your hand. You, both of you would notice Sebastian grow rigid when you touch her hand. But what you see is a scene of war. And Elvira, and maybe to the shock of Adonaith, Elvira doesn't seem all that fazed by what she sees. At least her facial expression doesn't change. And Elvira, it doesn't seem to you all that different from the wars you knew in your mortal life when you were living at the convent. It seems like he is a veteran of wars, but the difference there is these were mortal wars, and this is clearly wars against other Canaanites. And you watch different salubri like himself being cut down by creatures made out of stone, by warlocks, these Tremere that you've heard about, boiling blood in their body, employing different varieties of blood magic, which of course strikes a chord with you. And as you share these visions, Adonaith, you see Elvira's face change into more of a grimace or more anger, perhaps, at seeing this blood magic being used. And the last vision that you see, besides these stone creatures, that of course you have also seen, Elvira, you see Adonaith flying out of the tower of wherever this battle took place, and him falling down into a vast crevice that you don't see the bottom of before the vision ends.
I have been inside of their den of horrors. I have claimed as many of their lives as I could and destroyed as many of their stone creatures as would fall under my axe. This is the enemy. And he will look over to this rigid-looking human. Be not afraid. I am the angel of the Lord Adonaith.
I am not afraid of you.
Then you are a fool.
On principle, yes.
A self-aware fool at the very least.
I am. It's sort of a common trait with my kind.
Elvira's kind of looking out towards the city once again. And without looking back, she says, I've seen them being created.
The cocoons of flesh. Blood.
It's almost comical what they say about you and your brothers. Makes you wonder.
They're not alone. It is the support, from what I hear, of the clans Ventru, Toreador, that have allowed them to rise to legitimacy. Our enemies swell beyond number, but I hunt just one, for now. The same that would hunt you. And I plan to come to this city, gather as many of our extended blood, and I will bury that feckin' witch.
Allow me to be the blade in the dark that aids in your mission.
From which of our illustrious bloodlines do you hail, lady?
The Assamites.
There's a small, painful smile. We called you all brother once, and we failed you. And it is my oath that I will not fail you a second time.
You owe me no such oaths.
You're quite young, aren't you?
Comparatively speaking, I imagine.
Oaths and what we owe are all we have. Fealty echoes in the blood.
Before long, as you have this conversation, the ship docks here. Of course, it was hard finding a ship to grant you passage this late at night, especially with the threats of, amongst other things, piracy. But as the two of you and Sebastian step off of the Masquerade, you see Latin merchants from Genoa, Venice, and Pisa have dominated the commerce here. At least you can tell from all the names and the emblems that are on the boats here. Many are operating from the colony of Galata across the Golden Horn. Ships are just filling this harbor, and their gold is no doubt keeping the Byzantine treasury afloat. And without much insight from either of you, the sailors who are still near their vessels this late at night are riddled with tension. There's a mistrust between Latin and Greek, Catholic and Orthodox. Move over. The streets are narrow and uneven, winding unpredictably through districts once rich with marble forums and bustling trade. Many of these open spaces are now overgrown or occupied by makeshift stalls and grazing animals. The mortal population huddles like rats in their tenements, half-starved and cowed. The moonlight reveals outlines of a once mighty metropolis where now stray dogs wander the arcades once reserved for processions of emperors. But amongst these beasts walks one of a different kind, Karak. You've been in the city for a few nights now, and although you think you have mapped out most of the city, you have not come across those flying statues again, and you fear they may have flown away from the city before you were even able to get here. And as you walk these streets, you run into someone who seems to be just as lost as you looked, or believe you looked, the first time you entered Constantinople. They are sort of pressing themselves up against the wall as if they are too afraid to be lost among these streets or closed in by these tight walls, and they have their face completely covered and are just sort of muttering to themselves.
I will approach and just kind of loom for a second before I ask how many winters.
The second you approach, she's going to just pull her veil closer to her face, and she's going to say, I do not know what you mean.
You walk with death.
Do we not all?
How many winters?
You are quite the interesting one. I'm looking him over now, kind of fully. Is there anything that kind of gives away, like, his own nature to me?
Yeah. He's definitely acting like some of the other Canaanites that you would have run across running errands for Baba Yaga, who tend to stick to the woods and the outskirts of cities, which are the gangrel.
How many winters? She's kind of like puzzling for a second. You know, I've not kept proper count, but a while.
You walk like a pup. Unsure of yourself. Afraid and new.
Have you been to the big city before?
I've scouted this place for some time now. But I don't recognize you.
I'm new here too. I don't come to big cities. This is quite the unsettling experience. I don't like the noise.
Then why are you here now?
I'm of a quest of my own. I need answers.
What are you seeking?
I seek information on, what were they called again? The Tremere. I seek to find out more about something they have made and something they have taken from us.
You've been stolen from.
Not me specifically, but us.
Us. I have been stolen from.
He's going to kind of pull her veil a little bit, kind of showing off a little bit more of her rotted features. A flash of gnarled fang. I'm on a quest for the Baba Yaga.
And Karak. Wits and occult for you as well.
That's 10 successes.
Okay, with 10 successes, yes, you would know that these are the hideous ones, the Nosferatu.
And the name Baba Yaga, that's...
I'll allow it with 10 successes that you have heard that there is some haggard maggot witch that lives in the frozen wilderness.
You belong to the witch hermit.
So you do know of us. Our reputation precedes us then.
As do your physical features. Cover up.
I already was. I showed myself to you. And she covers back up. Speaking of covering up, shouldn't you? It looks mighty cold.
There has been colder winters than this. What are you seeking? What has been taken?
Something of Baba Yaga's. One of her roots.
Her roots.
I am a root.
You speak in riddles.
We are also... do not know how many ears might be around. The shadows can listen in very easily.
Let's walk and talk.
That's...
So, as you walk and talk, I am going to move our scene over to the last K-Knight on our list here. At the city's heart stands the great church of Hagia Sophia. Its dome soaring like a defiant halo above the city. Surrounding the cathedral were the remnants of the once glorious palace district, the great palace of the emperors. Once a place of luxury and authority, is now standing mostly abandoned. The current emperor Andronicus II, is old and weary and has long since relocated to the palace near the land walls. And it is in one of these long decrepit villas you have taken up residence, Vio. Your work in flesh art having consumed most of the areas hidden from prying mortal eyes. But it is not the flesh of the unwilling in your arms tonight. As has happened so often over the centuries, Stravka is here in your bed, the two of you no longer able to keep up the animosity that has separated you, instead giving into the passion you have always felt for each other. Stravka's small frame molds perfectly against your body, and it takes everything in you not to reach out and blend your skin into hers. One body, one soul, one unbeating heart. Her voice, however, snaps you out of it. This cannot continue forever, beloved.
And what do you mean exactly?
We cannot keep doing this, separated by mere feet, angry for centuries. And when we come together in communion such as this, I know that it harms you because it goes against the path that you have chosen for yourself.
I think that's my choice to make.
I think that you will keep stumbling on your path unless I make a choice. She rises away from the bed, and it's a horrible feeling where her skin is no longer against yours, and there's a moment of reaching out for it.
Yeah, I think as she gets up, Vio's body like instinctually moves to sit up.
Things are changing, are shifting. Vio, the dream is dead. You know this. The Dragon, Michael, they tried to pass it to Vikos, and he has taken it upon himself to do something much more grand and glorious than they could have imagined. And I believe his plans will come to fruition soon. I know you hear the rumblings, even if you cannot hear the earth like I can.
There's always been a plan for Avka. It's just... it has scaled up while the city falls. But it could be something again.
It will be something again. I will be here when it falls. But I will not be here when it is rebuilt.
You're leaving.
Not I. You're leaving.
And why would I leave?
She bends down and sort of touches the cracked floor of the villa here. Now, of course, you haven't spent much time upkeeping it, because what's the point? And she touches through the cracks of where the earth and the soil is starting to come through. Umkraut, as I called it, weeds. And she puts her fingertips into it. And she closes her eyes. K-Knights walk these streets with purpose, Vio, like I have not felt in over 100 years. They search for answers, for revenge, for redemption. They search for each other, but they do not know it yet. They need you, even though you don't understand why yet either.
I don't. But I should probably find out. Especially if they're on my streets.
I do not believe we will see each other again.
You don't know that.
Not in the way that I know some things. It is a feeling.
I think Vio gets up, wanting to feel her skin on their skin. Kind of runs their hand along her hair and feels the bone and flesh of her face. I might surprise you.
Stravka, who is always dressed, I could only describe it as a wraith, as a ghost almost. She's wearing white linen, like she always is, never shoes. Her hair's very thin and pale and blonde. But she does wear something underneath, a necklace, a peacock feather dipped in resin. She pulls it out, puts it around you. Something to remember me by.
Vio kind of holds it, looks at the colors and the shades. I'll keep it safe.
If we are to see each other again, find me where, and she touches the necklace, find me in the place where these feathers come from.
I will keep it safe until I see you again.
She turns to leave, and she gets very, very far away from you before turning back and saying, "You're a man. You should consider embracing him before you leave. If you leave him as he is, he will die."
I think Vio just kind of nods and is looking at her because sometimes she just knows things and it's concerning when those things happen. That lack of control is also upsetting.
You watch her walk out into the open garden here and sink herself into the earth.
Theo takes a couple steps forward, and then it's prioritizing. There's Canaanites walking my streets. I need to go find them and see what they're doing in my city. But if something happens, I should probably take that advice into consideration. So I'm going to go find Theo, the previous emperor of Constantinople. Technically still my husband. Technically.
Yeah, like 200 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And go kill him.
So your plan is to embrace Theo?
Yes.
I have a follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking him with you to find these Canaanites walking your streets? Or are you doing as Stravka recommended, leaving him here?
I'm doing what she recommended because I remember what it was like for those first few nights. When I come back, we can talk. But in the meantime, I'll let him get used to this new existence. This better existence.
All right. We'll catch up with Vio in just a moment. Adonaith, Elvira, and Sebastian, you are walking, heading into the streets of Constantinople. If there was any, especially you, Adonaith, you were born before the 1st century, you had always heard stories of Constantinople. Of course, you hadn't been here in quite a few centuries. And the decline that it's currently sitting in after the Crusades, which of course you took part in some Crusades, is quite overwhelming. It's almost like it's in its death throes here. The grandeur's gone, the luxury's gone, the wealth is gone. These people are, if it wasn't for these traders coming in from Italy, then there would be nothing here for the people, except for waiting for the Turks to come in.
I think as we move through the streets, and Adonaith has since bound his head, and not silks, as is the style of the region and the time, but heavy green wool. You just look around. My people could have never lived like this.
Elvira's looking around, but never getting distracted. And says, and why is that?
Because we would not have abided the savagery of waiting for the blood to fall on our own kin. The line of MacNeil would have never left its people to savage and slaughter.
How noble.
Sebastian very offhandedly says, yes, well, you know, as one empire falls, another one rises. The Holy Roman Empire, where we just came from, seems to be in the upswing, as they say. You should know, man with the axe.
I told you once, my name. I would like it if you used it, as I will use yours from here on out, Sebastian.
The way you say it with your accent is awful, but yes, Adonaius. I'm sorry.
Says a man from the land of the broken tongues.
I've heard that before. But of course, I wasn't born there. I'm a lot older than I look.
And I have heard that this Holy Roman Empire is neither holy nor Roman.
No, an empire. But maybe one day.
What a strange concept.
You know, religious folks.
No, I don't know religious folks. I know the faithful, and only the faithful. Religion and faith are not the same.
You remind me of a group that I used to know. They call themselves choristers. You cannot get them to stop talking about God.
I don't know if God cares to listen anymore.
I am in agreement. I don't think he ever existed to begin with. But that's not why we're here. I'm assisting Lady Elvira because these Tremere were once part of my group. And they took to, before they started slaughtering their new peers, let's say, they were slaughtering us. Their old peers.
I thought it was just a myth that once they were witches.
You were myth-taken.
You should know. Every fairy tale has some basis in fact.
Yes, I can see the magic in your axe. 'Twas not put there by one of your kind, nor one of mine, unfortunately.
My mother said this axe was forged by the Svartals of Dwemerheim.
Well, that's a lot of words. It was blessed by a fae.
Aye? A dark elf?
I'm guessing more a troll.
The Jotnar are also great craftsmen.
Oh boy. So, Lady Elvira, you are a great tracker. Is there any does anyone hear any flapping stone wings or?
I've been looking around this whole time. Keeping stock of the entire surrounding situation. Is there anything of note that I see while we're having this conversation?
Yeah, you see a half-naked man sort of wandering around and a woman covering her face, and they are sort of walking slowly around the streets as if they're looking for something. Other than that, you see a lot of dogs. And, you see a lot of these merchants going back to their vessels, packing up their things. That's about all you see.
I would also like, if it's amenable to the storyteller, to just sort of activate aura perception. 10 successes.
The tidbits that you pick up on as you look at these people, as you look at everybody here, you pick up from the half-naked man wandering through the streets. You pick up a lot of anger, confusion, a lot of feralness to them. You pick up that they are Cainite and of the clan Gangrel. From the woman with the face covering, you pick up a very frightening aura. You pick up that her blood carries someone particularly strong in a particularly strong Cainite strain. You pick up that she is Nosferatu, that she is very nervous, but purposeful and driven. And from Elvira, you also pick up a lot of nobility and seriousness and focus. And she seems to be quite the ideal candidate for an Asimite as you have known them. From Sebastian, you pick up that he is a witch or a warlock himself, a will worker.
I think that Adonais will defer to the self-proclaimed blade in the dark.
Without another word. Well, actually, no. She notices that Adonais is looking everyone over, and his gaze kind of falls to her as he defers to her. And clocking that, she will turn on her heel and begin to approach these two wandering Cainites. And as she approaches them, are they saying anything that could clue her in on their conversation or what they're doing?
Well, she is going to, it is rude not to introduce oneself, and I guess it's been long enough in a conversation. No, I am Melita.
I am Karak.
A pleasure. It seems we at least have some similar necessities being in the city.
What could possibly give you that idea?
Hmm.
You're looking for something stolen, I'm looking for something new.
Stolen and new. I'm curious to know as well.
All you're missing is
And-
something borrowed and something blue.
Melita's one piercing eye from behind a shroud looks towards the others, the new arrivals to her conversation. And who are you?
Elvira Perez Delado.
Quite a many name.
Yes, and I can't help but understand that you are looking for something. Well, that so happens, so are we.
Is this what civilized societies come to? People just insert themselves in your conversations and think that an introduction is what warrants it.
I'm just assuming this is what the big city is like.
She ignores that comment and continues with a pointed look for an answer.
What business would it be of yours?
Quite apt.
We're also searching for something.
A creature.
Made of stone.
Now we are getting somewhere. And she'll look to Adonaiath.
Have you known much of polite conversation, child of the wolf?
Not in many years, but I found it doesn't taste quite the same.
It's a strange remark for you to make on civilized society, then.
And your name, stranger?
I've had many. Which one would you prefer?
The one you might put on your gravestone.
Or the one I might put on yours?
Welcome to try.
Now. This is not how we get information, is it? Fighting?
I'm looking for warriors. To avenge my brothers. Avenge yours as well. Gangrel, Samis, Nosferatu. All of your blood were taken to make these stone monstrosities. And the blood what the Tremere stole to get to where they are was from my antediluvian. And I will have my vengeance. Or I will have the grieve.
A voice from behind all of you as you are having this terse conversation is very soft and very ethereal, and you hear a noise as if something is rising up from the ground. And what appears before you is a woman in rags, covered in dirt now, very gaunt and very pale, large blue eyes, blonde hair. If it is creatures of flesh, crafted and formed into something new, there is only one in this city who can give you answers of which you seek.
Name them.
I will take you to their home. I have already informed them that you are here.
And who are you exactly?
I am no one of consequence to you.
It would be an honor to have an escort.
Yes, I see no reason to delay.
She nods and turns around. You notice she's completely barefoot. And if you are still using your oral perception, Adonaiath, you would determine her to be a Samitsi, but not of the older variety of, not of the quote-unquote new variety, but of the older ones that you would be familiar with. The older clan, the Khaldunic sorcerers.
I never had the chance to interact with your kind. The stewards of the land, we passed through the corridors of the Carpathians many times on our way to the Holy Land.
There are not many of my kind left, and even less will be available to be met in the future.
Then that is something that my bloodline and yours shares.
We will share more similarities. Unfortunately, I do not believe you will be here to see it. But who I am taking you to represents the new. What my clan will forever be known for, well beyond our time. As she walks, she takes you past the Hagia Sophia, the massive dome, into the palace district, to where you would expect to see guards and people and signs of wealth and regality, but it's all derelict. It's all broken down. Whoever is running Constantinople now, whoever the noble lineage that's leading it now, is gone from here. And she stops at a villa that is long overdue for a lot of repairs, but obviously that's not coming. And she simply waits for all of you to catch up to her. And she says, "Inside, you'll find my child. They will help you. I wish you luck on your journey."
Thank you for the information and the guidance.
I should get used to it. And she starts walking away.
And
Correct.
so saith the Lord that I shall send a prophet amongst you in the clothes of a pauper.
Croc will spit.
Ah.
March forward.
Melita will sigh and kind of take corner spot, watching from the shadows close enough.
Who would like to attempt to either enter or knock? Croc. You spit. And do you knock or do you enter?
Oh, he's entering.
You enter. As soon as you enter, you hear horrific screams coming from somewhere deeper into the villa, as Theo is, of course, experiencing his transformation, which perhaps not as painful as the Nosferatu transformation. It's not a trip through the roses either. And inside of here, Vio, would you like to describe what your flesh palace looks like?
Yes, because the spit disappears the moment it hits the stone and it's absorbed into the basically veins that line the entirety of this house. When you walk into the entrance, you can see where everything has been lined up. Everything looks nice, but then you realize that the walls are breathing. It's not vines, it's veins. It's all this old finery. It's very reminiscent of something that you would have been in style about 200 years ago. We made it look exactly like it was way back when, and then have been slowly updating it into a home.
All of you enter in, and it is a place of nightmares, to put it mildly. Perhaps only Melita would feel like this is kind of not too dissimilar from the way Baba Yaga likes to roll, so it wouldn't really upset you don't think? But for Karak, Adonaith, and Elvira, this is very reminiscent of what you have seen from these Tremere. It is disgusting. It is vile. It is frightening. And before too long, as you stand there looking around, actually, I'll give you a few moments to look around or have any interaction you'd like.
I think Melita would have come in last and kind of just looking around the rooms, almost with a sickly smile. She's just gonna say, "Feels like home."
Impure thing. Unnatural thing.
That's what I've been called all my life. I'm used to it.
Is this what you're hunting for? I'll look to Adonaiath and Ovira.
No,
Is this what you expected to find?
no. But so too once was the light bearer, one of heaven's angels.
Spare me your prophecy. God's not here. Or can't you tell?
God doesn't need to be here. I am here. And be not afraid, brother. And Adonaiath will go no further. Adonaiath knows better than to enter the home of one of the dragons without permission.
Elvira is looking around, still trying to keep a stony expression, but remembering what she saw beneath the library.
I have a very pointed question for you, Elvira. Adonaiath has more than once talked about the faithful, talked about God. Now, you are a woman of faith. Your mortal faith came from Christianity, and the faith that has been imparted to you by Fatima, by your sire, has been of Islam. Do you adhere to either of those, or none of those, or something in between?
It's faith that's something that brought her great comfort when she was alive. However, as much as Fatima tried to impart certain teachings onto her, Elvira only clung to the teachings of the blade. However, it's odd coming into contact with a Canaanite such as Adonaiath. It's reminding her of a long time ago.
That would make sense that Fatima keeps you away from the Ashira and here in Europe, because until you come to accept those teachings, your ability to navigate those domains is lacking. But as you all stand here and listen to the screams and the cries coming from somewhere deeper into the villa, Vio, you have left Theo. You have done what you needed to do. You've told him he's been waiting for it for almost 2 centuries, and you have made him your child. You head back into the main part of your villa to continue your work. You are building one of your many grand masterpieces here, where you are attempting to make a breathing wall that actually you must feed blood to, that will live, that will breathe, that you can hear breathe, and you're attempting to fuse lung into wood, into plaster, into stone, and it hasn't quite come to fruition yet, but, that is why we continue the work. And as you head up, perhaps wiping some blood and flesh from your fingers, you see 4 people standing in your main room.
I think Theo is putting the blood that they've taken off Theo. Theo. Theo was taking Theo. Yeah, I love it. I made
Welcome to Greece, baby.
Welcome to Greece. Taking Theo's blood and fusing it into patterns along their face, and is looking up. Why are you in my house? Is it not customary to knock where you come from?
You're to aid us, creature.
Is that so?
A prophet clad in white and bare of foot bore us hence.
So she let you in.
Please forgive the great injustice of your hospitality being demeaned.
I'll consider it.
The one who screams. I can dull their pain if it would suit as adequate recompense.
Why would their pain need to be dulled?
From the sound and the smell, they are yet mortal for but moments, yes? I have seen men die of pain. Something happens to the body, unable to suffer any longer. But
You
he'll...
still haven't answered my question. Why would the pain need to be dulled?
That is for you to decide. If you believe the pain may risk their survival. But it is good to know the sting of near death. And Adonais will unwrap his head and reveal his third eye.
I think Vio takes a couple steps forward because that is a project they've been working on for the curtains. What is it that I'm supposed to be assisting with?
We seek the creator of the creatures of stone. Those who have stolen from us.
Creatures of stone.
Gargoyles.
Is that their name?
Aye.
I am not aware of anyone stealing anything from me.
From you specifically, no. But your blood is used in the creation of these creatures. They steal your kinfolk. But what tie of loyalty to them, I know not what you possess. They shape their flesh, turn them to stone.
Who is they?
The Tremere.
I seek one specifically. I've seen her magics, I've seen the way that she farmed them.
They are creating them with my blood.
Yours, the Nosferatu, the gangrel.
They have stolen.
Is that enough to get you to come down from your unholy place? From this abomination?
Is that what you think it is?
I think it's lovely.
Weeks.
You're going to hurt its feelings.
I would do more
I'd
than
mind
hurt
your
its
tongue.
feelings.
In my house. And I think Theo starts to reach out, and that's when things start to move.
Mhm.
This all has a thin layer of skin on it.
You are inferring that the room moves.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. You learned from Vikos. Of course, the room moves. And this reminds you, Elvira, when you were in that university with Sebastian, and you came across this formula called "At our command, it breathes." This reminds you of that magic. As you know, it's not magic you know from the Banu Hakim, or the Assamites. It's, not blood magic as you understand it. It's something perverted, something different, something changed. And it makes sense now as you watch this creature, this Samitsi, control things with blood and flesh, although no magic involved. That is where these Tremere get their ideas, their inspiration, their powers, their ability that comes through their blood. It comes from these mutable creatures, such as the Samitsi. You look at Melita and you see that they are deformed. They are mutable because they can change. Karak being a gangrel, as Adonais called him, you know that these are creatures that can shape their body, shapeshift. And of course, you see Vio can shape their own face and rooms, apparently. It's all starting as someone who is a practitioner of your own variety of blood magic quietus. This is all starting to make a lot of sense to you. That the Tremere are nothing more than creatures that pervert what Canaanites have, that what comes natural to Canaanites for their own ends.
And I think with that, it becomes less of a question of like this flesh crafting is unsettling and perverted because it reminds her of what she saw, and more so it's this understanding that another thing has been stolen, another injustice wrought, another something else to correct.
So, Vio, if you would make me an intelligence and yeah, let's do Hearth Wisdom.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
Yeah, the only thing, not that you know or have seen these gargoyles, but you're not spending a whole lot of time outside. The only place that you know of where gargoyles are is at the Hagia Sophia.
Since my home offends you so greatly, let's take a walk while you tell me more about what they've been doing.
I think just under Adonai's breath, you will whisper a line of scripture that was one of Uriel's favorites. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death.
That's very sweet, but I'm the only god in this house. Now, if you wouldn't mind. And, I'm going to lock up behind myself as I go, which is just letting the house know I'll be home in a little while as the veins start to grow around the door.
And that is where we're going to take our break. These Canaanites, not yet a coterie, definitely not, have just met in the city of Constantinople. Of course, all of them are here for a similar purpose, except for Vio, who lives here, but after having heard that there is a clan out there that is stealing not just blood belonging to their clan, but also trade secrets of the Fleshcrafters, Vio is suddenly very interested in helping these people discover what on earth is going on. And at the mention of gargoyles, the only place that Vio is aware of where gargoyles are is in the Hagia Sophia. Now, these gargoyles, as far as you are aware, Vio, are simply statues, right? And as you lead them to the Hagia Sophia, of course, it is a massive dome. It is a staple here in Constantinople and has been for centuries. It represents not only the new schism of Christendom between Orthodoxy and Christianity, but of course stands as a pillar of when the Roman Empire was great, the Eastern Roman Empire, when it forsook paganism and adopted Christianity, and of course all of those things. It is immediately recognizable by anyone who's even had a passing interest in the city. And as you lead all of them there, Vio, it's been quite a long time since you've actually been here. You think you haven't actually been to the Hagia Sophia since you were alive. And you notice that it is rather empty at the moment, which is strange because very often there are caretakers, there are patriarchs, there are priests here, monks, varying clergy and religious folks who are here. But it seems quite empty and desolate at the moment, and you don't see any candles burning, which is the strangest thing of all.
It's too quiet.
Don't imagine you're unused to the sound of screams. Something that you would prefer as background music to your work.
No. Is that a genuine question?
We're so inquiring, what's the difference here? What is it normally like?
People. The monks. And there's not a candle in sight. Although it has been some time.
Do you think we should expect danger?
Usually. Everything else is then just a pleasant surprise. Wouldn't you agree?
Who travels widely needs his wits about him. The stupid should stay at home. The ignorant man is often laughed at when he sits with mead and food at the table with a sage.
I will scan the area, looking for any signs of an ambush.
You don't see any signs of an ambush, no.
It is odd for a holy site to have no candles or people.
Am I familiar with the monks who might attend to this, please?
You are. You are familiar with at least one of the orders that frequents this place, although they don't live here. It is a pilgrimage for them. You don't see any sign of them.
There are no monks on pilgrimage to this place.
There used to be.
Shall I investigate?
And Vio's also looking up because that's where usually the stones are, where the gargoyles are. They're perched at the edges to catch the water.
Some are there. Some are not.
Follow this Simitsi's gaze.
You see obvious places where there are no gargoyles, where once something was.
Vio's just gonna, along with like the eye line, kind of just point out.
Right here across the shroud. Here.
Yes, you can. That's your necromancy and intelligence.
Are there any animals around?
There are stray dogs.
Okay.
They are avoiding this place.
6 successes.
6 successes. You peer across the shroud and you're trying to see if the shroud is thin here. It's very thin here. Recent death. A lot of it.
There's been a lot of recent deaths here. The veil is very thin.
Adonais will draw his axe from his back. For the first time in many years, entering a holy place with steel in hand. And he will breach the doors of a place where he once prayed with Uriel and Samuel.
If I could stop Adonais. It is a wise hunter that scouts first, that knows what they walk into. Hold a moment.
I am clad in the armor of God, but if you feel the need...
And I will activate Lurking Mists.
Activate what?
Lurking Mists. I'm gonna go...
You're gonna turn to a misty form?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little peeky peek.
You head into you watch Karak turn into mist, no longer the form of this shirtless figure. Here turns into mist as if it's rolling off of the Golden Horn, and float into the Hagia Sophia underneath the closed doors that, as you pass under them, Karak, you realize are chained, which even your memory of being a young man in Pisa would know that churches do not chain their doors. Churches are places of sanctuary. And as you head underneath, what you see is a stone gargoyle, fangs pierced into a religious figure. You're not sure, you're not Orthodox, but you think this must be the priest of some kind. It's just a little bit more gaudy than the priest that you would have grown up around. And this area, this main sanctum here, is filled with the dead.
It is just one gargoyle and one priest.
Yes,
standing.
you think that this is... You see a chipped piece of the wing. You think this is one of the gargoyles that you fought on your way into the city.
He will ooze back out and sort of drift through the cracks and return to his traveling companions. And take physical form once more. There is one of the creatures left. I think I may have encountered it on the road. He is draining a priest. Don't look at Ananias.
Needs no more. He was ready to go in already.
The doors are chained.
Not for long. And Adonais will close all 3 of his eyes for just a moment. And this is a big one. I have to spend 10 points of blood for this. But He will just say out loud, because this prayer must be issued aloud. I do not remember the faces of my sons. I do not remember the love that once I held in my mother's arms. And I am afraid that I will die without ever achieving my purpose. And I will enact the Song of the Blooded.
Yep. So as Adonai says those words, a glowing halo forms around their head, and they hold their axe up, and it almost illuminates this area. And anyone who entered with, and I assume you ripped the chains off the doors, Adonai. Anyone who enters behind or with Adonai would see the scene as I described, except it's a little bit easier to see now, Karak, than in your mist form. You can see that the Hagia Sophia, the interior of it, is practically dripping in blood. Bodies are scattered everywhere. And you do see this gargoyle here feeding on a priest, and Vio. This creature is unlike anything you've ever made. And if it incurs a sense of jealousy in you, that would be an understatement, to put it mildly.
I didn't come up with this. I didn't make this. Someone stole what I do and made this. It's an abomination.
Not my house
And
that
a
moves.
slight.
Now, I'm going to start with Elvira. This is the scene that you see. What is it that you would like to do? And it says it's illuminated by this halo that has grown around Adonai.
Elvira will draw her daggers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about using Silence of Death. So
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
undoing the I'm gonna activate Silence of Death.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually going to like scan. Is there like maybe a chandelier or something wrought iron hanging over the gargoyle, something that could be dropped on it?
Yes. Yes, there is. There's several of them. But all the candles are out, but of course the wrought iron is still there.
Is there like, is it chained in a way that I could reach it and cut it or rip it off?
You would have to jump onto it and go down with it.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna drop the chandelier on it.
Okay. So
Okay,
make
hold
me a God, there better be athletics on here. Strength and athletics to get up there.
There is.
Okay, make me strength and athletics. Melita, what are you doing?
Okay, so does what Adonai doing make my obfuscate bad?
As long as you get away from him.
All right, I'm gonna. I would like to.
Unseen presence?
distance- Yeah, I would like to. Pretty much.
Spend a blood point to do unseen presence.
Okay.
Because this is, I know Melita's not a fighter, so this is hard for you to do anything about it. At the very least, you can check and see if any of the bodies are alive. Is the very least what you can do.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. Then make me a wits and awareness. Karak.
I would like to activate Call of the Wild.
Who are you calling? The dogs?
All of the dogs.
All of the dogs. Okay, that's a charisma and animal.
Survival.
Charisma and survival. Yes. And Vio.
These were made from the blood of the dragon, and they will be destroyed by the blood of the dragon. I put the power in the chat so you can read it. But basically, Vio starts to wipe away their flesh.
Mm-hmm. The most fearsome of Samitsi's monstrous form, the last Dracul allows the dragons to assume the shape from which their ancient nickname is derived. 6 blood points, Vio.
Yep.
As your skin starts to gleam, wings sprout from your back, and your skin becomes crocodilian. Your strength and stamina double. Okay, and you get 5 extra levels of health.
And my blood becomes flame.
Yeah. And you can breathe fire. All right. Adonai.
Offended.
This is the scene that you see. You have a glowing halo around your head. What do you do?
I am much more concerned with the life of this priest than I am with the fate of this creature.
Mm-hmm.
I have taken my share of gargoyle blood. And so I'm just going to use the back end of that axe to knock it away so that I may tend to this priest.
Strength and melee.
With the specialty in axes, that takes me to a total pool of
15.
specialty in axes reduces the difficulty as well.
Okay. Then your well, your difficulty is only 4. Elvira. Your difficulty to do this was 8 because you're getting up high. High.
Yeah. Let's see, that would be 3 successes.
3 successes is not quite enough. You get almost up there, but you're going to have to do another to get it down. So give me another strength and athletics to get the rest of the way up.
Okay.
Melita, what's your wits and awareness?
9 successes.
Difficulty is 7.
There's 9 successes.
9 successes. You notice as you walk through these bodies that many of them have blood around their mouths. We'll get back to that in a minute. Karak.
7 successes.
Okay. 7 successes. All the dogs in the area start coming into the Hagia Sophia. They start growling. They are all gathered around you like your own little pack of dogs. What do you want them to do?
Feast, and I will point toward the gargoyle.
All right,
And this requires whispers to the wild.
Mm-hmm. That's animal ken. That's charisma and animal ken. Or manipulation and animal ken, actually.
You are correct.
Yeah. Vio, what are you doing?
I'm going for the gargoyle and the bodies. No one can know that it was in any way effective.
Mm-hmm. So, breathing fire then, are we? That will cause everyone to have to make a frenzy check, which is like conscience and some other bullshit or whatever it is.
Yeah, so I think Theo
Self-control.
right now
Yeah.
is just jumping into it and starting to rip at the gargoyle. And then if that happens, if I get damaged, then there'll be fire. But right now we're just shredding.
Then strength and brawl with a difficulty, since their skin is so incredibly hard, but you're doing awesome over here. Your difficulty is
I'm
only going to
doing-
be 5.
5 sick. So, oh my god. I have to-
Adanaev. Your successes, please.
At the difficulty of 4, that would be 16 successes.
With 16 successes, you very easily knock the gargoyle away, separate him from the priest. Blood from the wound sort of spurts all over you and everywhere as the priest falls backward. The gargoyle looks at you extraordinarily, ferociously, angrily, mouth covered in blood. And it takes flight. It flies up into the air, right towards you, Elvira. Can I have your successes, please, of that second jump, which I was really hoping you wouldn't make it the first round?
3.
Oh, that was for your second?
Yeah.
With 5 successes, he flies up and crashes right into you, and you're going to fall down to the ground. I will allow either Melita or Adanaev, because everyone else is busy, to attempt to catch you. Now, if Melita attempts to, you'll break your obfuscate. If Adanaev catches you, it won't, obviously. Who wants to catch Elvira?
I'll do it.
Adanaev. Okay. Then I need a... I'm going to ask for a rare double skill roll, awareness, and athletics, please. As the gargoyle crashes right into you. He's not going to hurt you, but that wing is going to clip you, and you're going to lose your grip climbing up the side of the Hagia Sophia here. Karak, your successes, please.
Would you count this? Would you count this as a dangerous command or a deadly command?
Deadly.
Okay,
So the
then that would
difficulty
be-
is much higher.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 successes.
Okay. So the gargoyle flies up and crashes into them. Of course, the dogs can't quite reach the gargoyle. But they do manage to grab onto some of him, bite into a bit of him, but of course breaks their teeth. Breaks one of the dogs, breaks their jaw on it, trying to get it. But of course the gargoyle flies up and away, so the dogs can do not little more at the moment than bark at it. Vio.
I got 6.
Okay. Again, the same thing with Karak. As the gargoyle flies up, you manage to scratch at it, and of course, it's hard. Hard like stone as you scratch at it. You think you injure it, you pull out some bits of the stone, and there's flesh in it, there's blood in it, and you get it on your claws, but it flies up into the air. So you are standing there with a pack of dogs who are barking up at it, and you are also down on the ground. Of course, you have wings.
So yeah, I'm gonna follow it with my wings.
So you're
And we're gonna try
flying.
and take it down.
You're flying after it. Perfect. Make me another strength and brawl. Adonaiath, your successes, please. Your successes to catch Elvira are at difficulty 7.
Oh, all right. Well, that takes one away then. 6.
6. Elvira, you fall as you're attempting to get the wrought iron, and you fall right into Adonaiath's arms.
She'll, without a second thought, basically like jump out, back on her feet.
What's the plan? Well, before we do anything else, let's see what VO rolls. Because this might be over quicker than we think. And then
you
I
said
need to
it was-
move to Melita for something.
And you said it was 5?
And you're in the air now, so I'm going to up it up to 6.
6. Okay. So that drops 1. So
He's already
5.
injured from Karak, because Karak took on 2 gargoyles by himself.
Yeah, so that's 5 now.
Mhm.
I think. Yes.
So, 5 successes, you grapple this gargoyle, you two, and you watch as Vio is locked in battle with this gargoyle in the air inside of the Hagia Sophia. Make me one more strength and brawl. That's your last one, Vio, before something happens. Melita, you are
Also
looking
forgot.
through these peoples, and you see there's blood all over their mouths. You can make an educated guess when one of them opens their eyes and begins screaming. And then another one near you, Adonaiath, opens his eyes and begins screaming, and you hear these horrific noises of this back breaking almost in half. Elvira, you hear this screaming as well. Karak, over the dogs barking, someone near you grabs onto your foot, and it's a monk on the floor, and he's screaming at you. He's begging you to help him as his arms and fingers and jaw begins breaking and snapping in several places, and you watch that hand start to be covered with scaly, stony skin.
The one who's screaming at my feet, can I tear their throat out?
Yes, easily so. Requires no
Yeah.
roll.
I'm gonna start doing that to any bodies around me.
Adonaiath, what is your reaction?
The Song of the Blood explicitly states that it does not end, and the focus on the rage of battle also does not end until all foes are defeated or the kindred is dead. So he is swinging that axe at these bodies on the ground like the Reaper that will be soon instituted as a symbol for the plague.
So you decapitate him. Elvira, the one nearest you who is also screaming, doesn't scream for long. It's a woman. You think she was a priest. Someone there for prayer at one point. And she screams for a moment, and then she very clearly passes. Body can't take the transformation, you think. And as you look around, you notice some of them are screaming for a short moment, and then they don't make any more noise or move. What is going through your mind?
Confused at how they're. Did she see the one who's turning stony as well? She's confused at how this is happening without that grotesque ritual that she witnessed.
You can give me intelligence and occult if you'd like.
Yes.
Karak, what is your reaction to this man grabbing onto you and turning into stone right in front of you?
I would stomp on his skull and command the dogs to feast, to try to mitigate those that are transformed.
Do you command the dogs to feast on the bodies?
Yes, to whoever's writhing live.
All right. I won't require a roll for that. They do that. Vio, your successes, please. If it
Ah.
is more than 4.
I got 6, and
Okay.
I'm starting to get hangry, I believe.
Yes, I'm sure that you are. So, you are fighting him midair. Eventually, you push him down, push the gargoyle down. You ground him, essentially, and you are on top of him. You are tearing into his chest, where you see a heart that does not beat, a heart just like in your own chest. You see veins, you see tendons, you see everything flesh, but covered in stone. It's unlike anything you have ever created. And of course, it makes you even more furious. And my question to you is, would you like to attempt diablerie?
Yes.
And I'll allow you
Yay.
to take this gargoyle's soul with you.
It's mine now.
And I'm going to increase your path of metamorphosis for that,
Yay!
because that's completely in line with your convictions on that path.
Yeah, we don't let a little thing like morality get in the way of our knowledge. What kind of sicko would this do?
Your roll, Elvira.
9 successes.
With 9 successes, you think that these Tremere are so reckless that these gargoyles are not simply flesh-crafted creatures that are made from the blood and the bodies of Canaanites. You think they have made new Canaanites. You think that they have made walking, breathing, at our command it breathes, Canaanites that look like gargoyles that can procreate.
Elvira's expression betrays her. She looks horrified at that revelation.
So, as Vio feasts on this gargoyle, and the rest of you, and Elvira studies what's going on, and the rest of you decapitate or destroy those who are writhing around in here, Vio, with your diablerie, you become inundated with knowledge. You receive strange visions. Maybe this is what it's like to be Stravka. You receive strange visions of things that you don't necessarily understand, and yet you intimately know. You see this particular gargoyle returning to the Hagia Sophia. You see the Tremere here working their magics in the bowels underneath the Hagia Sophia. You see and know intimately that they have received an invitation. You see it outlined in your mind, a beautiful scroll that's come from the Prince of Nuremberg, inviting the Tremere to settle in their city, that they would be protected there, that they could work their magics there as long as they served his court, and that they would have a home in his domain. And you see that all of them have left, and they decided to leave this particular gargoyle behind because he was injured. And they couldn't be bothered to attempt to wait for him, as his flying ability is extremely limited.
An imperfect creation. Excellent.
Mm-hmm. And as the crying dies down and dies, all of you are left here in this church of horrors.
Might I ask a question?
I suppose.
Has the priest passed the mortal coil, or
No, he hasn't.
Adonaiah will kneel down at his side, and he will part the hair from this priest's face. You say, "Be not afraid." He will bite into his wrist and bleed into his mouth.
Are you attempting to heal his wounds?
I'm attempting to finish the embrace.
Okay. Well, to do that, you need to drink some more.
And so, he will finish it.
All right. So, and you are embracing this priest. So, besides Vio and Adonaiah, Melita, Karak, and Elvira may have a conversation while the other two are preoccupied.
We need to find the ones who have committed these atrocities.
Agreed. This is more than what I was anticipating.
This is only a step along the path. And she'll look over at Anaeth and what he's doing and scoff a little, like he's kind of like wasting time.
Vio, you have finished your diablerie. And you may join the others as you see Adonaith embracing someone.
Theo rips the body apart with teeth and claw and lands on the ground. Are the bodies gone? Like the dogs have finished off most of them?
The ones that were making noise, they've eaten away at them, but the bodies are in general here.
I know where we need to go.
And where's that?
Nuremberg.
Another city.
How far is this place?
It's about a 3 months travel.
It will take time. But you should get out of the building. And I'm waiting until Adonaith is done, and then Vio's going to bite into their tongue and set this place ablaze.
Adonaith, you finish your embrace, you lift this man up and carry him out as this draconic figure of Vio sets ablaze to the Hagia Sophia. Of course, in your lifetime, Adonaith, the Hagia Sophia has gone through many bouts of destruction, especially during Crusading times. Now, as this man comes to consciousness, and of course, this embrace too is painful, and the eye will not appear immediately. It'll take a few nights before it does, but you can tell he's almost like in a constant state of a headache as he looks up at you, and he's a man who's in his maybe early 50s. He has a long beard. It's curly and gray.
Open your eyes and rise, Azazel.
He's confused, and he says, that is not my name.
It is now. You've joined God's angels.
I already have a name, like, my name is Urias, the light of God.
Among your brothers, you will be called Azazel, as I was once called Domino, and now am Adonaith.
I don't understand.
And I wish I had time to teach you, my son. But you must fly from this place. Stay to the night. Never let the grace of the sun touch you. You are God's strength, Azazel.
He nods. He's very confused. He looks back at the church and what he sees. I think God has long left this place.
I will describe to him the route that Adonaith took from the last time he left the monastery with Uriel to come here, or near here. The priests there, the monks, they will tend to you. They will teach you what you are. And tell them that it was me who sent you hence.
I will do this because you saved my life, although I think you have cursed me as well.
I hope one day you will hate me. But you will be alive too.
It's funny, and he begins walking away. I don't feel very alive.
Blood is lives.
Vio, you have successfully burned the inside of the church. You know eventually what little fire, people, fire department is being too generous of that, but what little fire attendants that they have here that will be called forth further down the coast will come eventually. But the place will burn, and it's maybe a good idea not to be here. Plus, your beast can't stand to be close to this much fire.
I think all that mattered was that the evidence of what these things can do is gone for the moment. But there is, in just Vio's whole body and face changes into something for travel. Like everything's just kind of that common face. And they just kind of stride out and start walking down the street. And if no one follows, is to turn it around. Are you coming, or?
I'm right here. And Melita will, I will be willing to spend a blood point to kind of be invisible again, if possible.
Sure. I'll allow it.
You just hear that from the shadows near you.
Oh, good. You did get out before it was ablaze. I wasn't sure. We're running out of time to make any headway this evening.
Elvira will stow her daggers and begin to walk towards Vio.
Excellent. And we're going to do that again until they're all gone.
Correct.
And Vio's going to start to head towards home so we can get all the stuff we need for travel and get going.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Tremere have to die.
Sebastian whispers to you, Elvira. He waited outside because this is beyond his purview. And he says, just like before, when we left the university, I will watch for you during the day. That is what I can do for you.
You have my thanks.
I have your blood as well, so that's helpful.
Indeed. Aside from granting you the blood, there isn't much that I can do in return.
You can kill all of the people who are attempting to, make people like me, people like them, and that's enough of a repayment for me. I don't want to be like that. And he points towards where the priest had walked away. That seems like the worst.
Yes, well, that was my mission anyway. But I understand the sentiment.
It's so strange. You just go, well, that one, and then you just do it, and then there's no choice, and that sounds that... I'd rather not.
She nods. I will ensure you are kept safe. And she will continue walking, puzzling the events of the evening and what happens next.
So, what happens next? What an excellent question. So we're going to move forward about 3 months. The travel from Constantinople to Nuremberg is long. By the time you reach that city, in the land of the broken tongues, as Adonais so eloquently put it, it's summertime. It's hot. It's humid. There are no beautiful sea breezes like in Constantinople. Everything seems to be stuck here, sticky here amongst the buildings. But of course, you don't have to worry about that temperature regulation. But you know that the people do, and they seem quite hot. So when you do arrive, I need to know, Adonais, are you still wearing your heavy wools and furs?
No. I think that, the only reason Adonais erred towards that side of fashion that he is familiar with was out of due deference for a kinship to the fact that he heard that these Varangian guard of Constantinople were his people. As soon as they enter the land of the broken tongues and it is summertime, he has no reference, so he wears his tunics and no furs and canvas because it's prone to rain in the summer, so perhaps a canvas cloak.
As you enter into Nuremberg, And Adonaith is the odd man out here, so to speak, the way they are dressed, or the rest of you. Of course, Elvira, you keep your disguise as a woman of nobility, which is very easy to slip in and out. Of course, you have your escorts here. Melita, you look as, wherever you are, you look as a woman who is, you know, some sort of disfigured pauper of some kind, and that's the easiest. You've never blended in so easily anywhere, whereas, you know, in life, you were some disfigured witch in the woods, but here, no one seems to pay any attention to you at all, which is exactly how you like it. Vio, it's horrible to not be your true self in your flesh palace, to have to be the way that you are amongst the people. It's horrible. It reminds you of everything you hated about your human life, but hopefully, now that you've reached the city of Nuremberg, this will be over soon. And Karak, I mean, cities are the worst. You hate it. Your time on the road with these people, your feelings about them, how much you interacted or how much you enjoyed each other's company, it was maybe better than when you were in Constantinople and now when you're entering into a new city. You were actually hoping maybe the journey would last a little bit longer because at least you were outside. And the small places you did have to travel between, and obviously you had to sleep during the day. The places that you did go that were sort of villages along the way to Nuremberg, you did learn some things from some Canaanites you did come across who were traveling to their own destinations. And you learned that the Prince of Nuremberg is actually a rejected prince of Paris named Prince Alexander. At one time, he was the Prince of Paris, but he was long ago foisted out for a new prince, and he's never really reclaimed that title. Now, Nuremberg itself is a central trading hub for central part here in Europe, but in general, it's nowhere near as illustrious as the city of Paris. But he is running this merchant city, this mercantile city, as best as he can, and you aren't entirely sure why he's invited the Tremere here, but you can only assume it's to help bolster his own power. So, as you enter, of course, they expect you to be traders of some kind or looking to buy something, but all of you, or most of you, possess some sort of domination abilities where you can very easily get by these human guards, doesn't really matter, and you get in under your own various disguises, disguising your third eye, for example, Melita disguising your face, Karak, you don't really care about disguising yourself, and you begin your searches through the city. I need from everybody, I need a wits and survival roll from everybody. Adnath. 10. 8. Karak.
That's fucking 15 successes.
Of course it is. Okay. All right. So, here's how we go. Starting with our lowest, Melita. As you get into the city of Nuremberg, you sort of split off because you need to find where the Tremere are. So you sort of split off into where your general people would be. The people that would relate to you the most. Melita, you head off to sort of the beggars, to the lepers, to the sick houses, with only 3 successes, however. As you navigate your way through it, you don't find any other Nosferatu here that can assist you in any way into where these Tremere are, unfortunately. Elvira, with 5 successes, and dressed as the noble woman you are, with Sebastian as your eunuch, you head off into the actual royal houses, the noble merchant houses that are here. The Duke of Nuremberg, who is immortal, you head into those areas. You head into feasts and parties that they have there, and you do find some Canaanites here. And apparently you learn that there is a Tremere who is serving as a vizier of some kind, an advisor to the Prince of Nuremberg, Prince Alexander. Her name is Anastasia, and at the moment she's living in the fortress on the hill. They do not recall the name. Vio, you head to where the artists are, where Many of them are, of course, patrons of these nobility. And you also head amongst the whores as well. Those are the two places that you would have the most success. You speak to them and you learn the same thing that Elvira learns. Speak to some Toreador that you absolutely can't stand. They tell you that Anastasia is the advisor to Prince Alexander, and she lives in Fort Henri on the hill. Adonais, you head to the churches, to the monasteries here in Nuremberg, and of course you don't find any salubri. 10 successes, you do run across Alessandra. He's an older man, maybe in his 70s. You're not sure if you've ever met anyone this old before who is a Cainite. And he is sitting amongst these monks who are writing out well into the night, burning candles, copying books. And he's holding a cane, feigning an injury that he does not have, but must keep up the pretense of an elderly age. And he turns and he looks up at you. And he says, Guten Abend.
Adonais does not speak the language of these people.
No, he does not. So when he
So
sees in confusion that you don't speak his language, he speaks to you in Latin. And he says, Good evening.
Adonais will hold out his hands. Be not afraid. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them who are bruised.
Nicely recited, Adonais. It is dangerous for your kind to be here. Why are you here?
For I am the hand of God, and there is one amongst the number of this city what needs to be smote upon the ruin.
Only one. Fascinating.
Only one what has been anointed by the hand of God. I come for Anastasia.
The Tremere.
And in truth, all of the Tremere.
Alone. Fascinating.
When one is anointed by God, one is an army.
But you're not an army, are you, Adonais?
Why do you ask?
I'm not as young as I look. And I've known your kind. Many of them. Back when we, were all princes of our own domains. You know. In the Dark Ages. Long before whatever age we're living in now. And the people feared us. But they didn't fear you, did they? And by you, I mean the royal you, as in all of you. For you were their saviors in the dark places, weren't you?
Where there was sickness, we made health. Where there were demons, we were angels.
And where there was misery, you made joy. I remember.
And here cometh the sons of Saulot again.
I don't think so. I think your time is done. And I think you are in your death throes. Were it I would leave this place. Find somewhere that I wanted to spend what remains of my own life in peace. But that is not the way of our kind, is it?
I will not go into that night quietly.
No. You won't even speak quietly, let alone go anywhere. The woman you seek is in Fort Henri, on the hill, just beyond the gate, these walls of the city. However, if I could make a suggestion to you, as a brother in Christ, pray first.
I will. And you will gather this city sick and bruised, and you will bring them to me.
I think that can be arranged.
And what am I to call you, brother?
You may call me Son of Montano.
And then we are all sons of God in his house.
Indeed.
And Adonais will go to a secret place within the church where he might perform his healing until it is time to assemble with the others.
Karak. When you watch Melita go off to the unhoused, excuse me, I'm using modern language here, to the poorhouses, to the lepers, you watch Elvira with her noble garments head off to some party wearing a masquerade mask. You watch Vio head into the pleasure houses and Adonais into the churches. You don't have time for this. You don't have time to chit-chat with other Canaanites, with other monsters like yourself. You don't need that. You have your own senses. You're going to sniff out these Tremere, just the way you mapped out Constantinople by yourself. You're looking for a prince? Well, the first thing is you start smelling for someone who smells way too fresh for living in a city that this fucking dirty. And of course you head to the biggest, nicest, most guarded place in the entire city. Because that only makes sense. That's of course where he would live. So you go there. Slip yourself underneath walls, underneath doors, past guards. Don't need to worry about that. They don't know you're there. As you stalk the halls of the Prince of Nuremberg, eventually you come across what could only be described as a hedonistic display. The Toreador Prince is lounging amongst soft pillows and softer women, mortals and Canaanites alike. He seems to have taken any money that could be spent on any of the poor, any of the sick, anyone lesser than himself, on simple pleasure. He's not ruling a city. He's enjoying his own life to the fullest extent until it's completely dried up, and then he'll move on somewhere. Perhaps back to Paris, perhaps somewhere else, and he'll just keep repeating this process for the rest of his own life. And you see standing next to him is a woman, but of course you don't know anything about Anastasia. You don't know anything about the Tremere. You don't know that she is one. She's got long dark hair, and she's standing nearby him, and she seems to just be by herself in a corner reading. But it's the prince that you know who has invited the Tremere here. When you appear in front of him, dressed as you are, he looks shocked and then amused, and he begins laughing uproariously. Have we had someone send for entertainment? You, what is your name, boy?
I am Karak. I am the Untamed.
Oh
I'm here to
my.
correct your city.
Well, are you going to show us how untamed you are, or are you just going to bore us with your voice?
And I will lunge for him.
Mm-hmm. You lunge for him. Several people, especially the humans who are here, begin screaming. Many of the Canaanites who are here back up. Some of them flee out of doors. The woman who was reading the book, she immediately drops it and passes by a curtain, and then you don't see her come out the other side. What do you say to him?
I need to know what you know. I need everything from you.
Do you have any idea who you are putting your filthy hands on?
Filthy. The world is filthy and you wouldn't know it. You live here amongst your fucking silks, your pillows, your soft slaves, and your soft people. You make me sick. And you will surely turn my stomach for a few nights at least. But stronger than you I am, so I will overcome you. And I will sink my fangs into his throat.
You sink your fangs into his throat. He looks shocked, of course, at first, but gives in very easily to the kiss. Croc, you know what your mission was here as you're drinking from him. You know you were supposed to find this prince, find the Tremere, figure out what's going on, but you're not built for this. You're built for action. This is everything that your sire taught you. You're built to kill. And so you'll kill. You drain him dry. You remove yourself down to the 4th generation as the soul of Alexander passes into you. It's a head rush, Croc, to say the very least. His mind is so much more, and this is not a slight on you, his mind is so much more frivolous but also complex that it almost hurts. It's almost painful behind your eyes. And you grab onto your head and you almost scream out. And a lot of the mortals here begin screaming and running, and as they scream, you just want them to stop screaming. So you thrust out with a hand, and then they don't make any more noise after that. While this is happening, Melita, down with the unhoused, keep using that modern language, down with the poor and the homeless and the lepers, you're speaking to them, looking for Nosferatu, and you just cannot find, and perhaps you're thinking that it is only with Baba Yaga that the Nosferatu, it was foolish to think so far away from Baba Yaga there would be any Nosferatu. Obviously, she is the mother of us all, so, she didn't send anybody out this far, so obviously you wouldn't find any. That's silly. But, you thought you'd try, you're trying to help, because you're trying to figure out, your soul, as much as for the others, it's a personal thing. Of course, it's a personal thing for you, but it's personal because it's personal to Baba. And you're just trying to do what she wants, right?
Exactly. She's always correct.
Right, exactly. So as you are leaving the area and starting to head back to meet up with everyone else, there was a designated meeting point. Something happens, Melita. A darkness falls over your eyes. It's almost as if you've been struck blind. Elvira, you've left one of these parties, and you're heading to meet up with Adonaith and Vio and the rest of them. Adonaith goes to churches a lot, so you're sort of looking in every church and monastery to see if he's there. Sebastian has also is not at your side. He stayed at the party a little bit longer to see if he could speak with some of the servants, see if any of them are ghouls, see if he could get some more information for you. Any way of getting into this fort. And as you walk into one of the churches, all of a sudden, you can't hear anything anymore. Your sense of hearing completely dies out, and the world around you goes quiet. Vio, you're in a pleasure house right now. You're speaking to these women. Of course, hundreds of years ago, you were just like them. And they're talking to you, you're talking to them, you're asking how many times they've been up to Fort Henri, who has come back, who hasn't, and different things. And have any of you, has anyone come and taken anything from you? Or has anyone ever invited you to other places? Have any of them ever seemed strange? Do they do strange things with blood, perhaps? Do they do they do bloodletting? Things of that nature, trying to keep it as casual as you possibly can with questions like these. And as you're speaking, suddenly your voice completely fails. And you can't speak anymore. Adonaith, you are laying hands, you are blessing the poor and the sick in the city of Nuremberg that son of Montano, as he referred to himself, has come and offered up to you, and you're laying hands on them, and one woman is at your feet, she's kissing your feet, and you go to put your hand on her head that is full of scars and marks from leprosy. And when you touch her head, you can't feel it. Another one attempts to take your hand, and you can't feel the sensation of these people grabbing onto you. Your sense of touch has evaporated. Karak, After you have slaughtered everyone that was up in this private room of Prince Alexander, so deranged are you from this act of diablerie, from this act of total violence, the world for you shuts down. Everything in you stops working. You can't control your body, you can't control your voice, you can't control your mind, you can't even control the eyes rolling around in your head. You've never felt anything like this. And for all of you, the world that you have always known goes dark as you fall completely unconscious wherever you were standing. The last thing, except for Elvira, the last thing that any of you hear is the sound of intense, deep, dare I say, umbral chanting. And that is where we are going to end Episode 1, Where the Monsters Go. Thank you, everyone.